All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Is everybody ready? Cool. Hello, my name is Cyril. I'm the founder of HAXLR8R. Very happy to have you all today for what's going to be about an hour of presentations and demos from the teams, and then you'll be able to go to the back for some more fun. I'm going to immediately leave the floor, actually, for another co-founder of Hax, Sean O'Sullivan. Is going to tell you a little bit about what's going on these days at Hax. Sean.
Thank you, Cyril. Thanks everyone for coming today. I just have a few notes before I turn it over to Carl. I think Carl is next. Carl Bass from Thank you, Carl. That's right. That's great. Yeah. Let's put this here. Sorry. Whoops. Okay. Great. So just a few notes. So to launch a hardware company in Silicon Valley 8 or 10 years ago, you needed $20 million just to get started. Probably $75 million by the time you shipped your first 10,000 units. 2 years ago, when HAXLR8R did our first demo day and the first launch of any hardware accelerator anywhere on the planet, we said hardware is the new software. And today with HAXLR8R, we're taking teams of 2 to 3 people, or 6 people, sometimes bigger teams, bringing their ideas to Shenzhen, China, and teaming them up with our industrial engineers, our mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, sourcing and distribution people. And so now it's actually possible for a 2 or 3 person company using HAXLR8R to get no more than the $50,000 that we give them to join our program, plus the money they get from launching their products here today on Kickstarter, which can, on average, be a couple $100,000. And that may be the last funding they need before they have a company that is selling millions of dollars in products. So it's a different world from 8 or 10 years ago, and it's changing very, very rapidly. A year ago, having launched 20 startup hardware companies, we said that 2014 was going to be the year of hardware startups. And in the last year, we've seen acquisitions of startups Nest, Oculus Rift, Beats by Google, Apple, Facebook, the leading computer companies of our day, for billions of dollars each. So every major computer player is looking at how to get more embedded into people's lives. This is an area that's moving fast, and as you'll see today, lots of opportunities exist for innovation. I'm noted myself for 2 things. I pioneered street maps on computers in the 1980s. You type an address in a computer, you see a street map. And for coining the term cloud computing in 1996. 20 or so years later, these megatrends have become well-known and used by billions of people. I think today, we're still at the very, very early stages of this hardware revolution. But these are unstoppable forces. These megatrends will be in 10 or 20 years just as embedded in our lives as the massive shifts we've already seen Silicon Valley introduced to the world. So now, hardware used to be about improving business operations, improving the quality of the servers or the printers or the accounting packages or all of that. Now it's really shifted to consumer trends where it's really about improving people's lives, the quality of life, and increasing the capability of what it means to be human. This is an unstoppable trend. This is a mega trend that will not stop for the next few decades. And SOS Ventures, the venture capital company behind HAXLR8R and other accelerator programs, is putting hundreds of millions of dollars into helping accelerate companies. 20 hardware companies launching this year from HAXLR8R, 10 today. If there are three things to take away from today, it's these three things. The hardware industry is no longer about computers or interacting with screens. It's about the quality of human life. Of the 10 companies that are launching here today, other than the 2 robotics companies, none of these hardware devices even looks like a computer. A second point, I guess, is that offline is now online. All these devices, all these pieces of hardware, whether it's built into your tennis racket or into your skateboard or into your seat, these are all connected devices. And we can feel threatened, perhaps, that computer companies like Google, Apple, and Facebook aren't just tracking our movements online now, but now our lives are really becoming part of the machine. But good companies will actually use these technologies to improve our quality of life. I guess the third and final point is that some of these technologies, they really need to be experienced. So you're going to see some demos today. You'll see some demos. You'll see some presentations from some of these teams, but you really need to go see the demos and experience these products for yourself because they really are like magic. And a few years ago, you wouldn't understand how any of this works. And some of these products today, it's impossible to understand how it works. It really seems like magic. So give these teams a bit of a break. They're young entrepreneurs. I hope you welcome them with your open arms. And do see the demos and try to experience as many of these products afterward as you can. Carl, thank you so much for coming. Carl Bass, CEO of Autodesk, is here. Thank you very much for having me in your space.
Wow, great. Welcome everybody to Autodesk. Thanks for coming by. Glad to see you all here. I'm just going to say a few words and then I was going to see if anyone had any questions. That's always the most fun for me, is learning as much from you as I give out. So if you have any questions. Just excited to see everybody here. I've been tremendously interested in what's going on in this new hardware revolution. I personally, in addition to doing software, I've been making things for way many more years than most of you have been alive. So for a long time, I've been making all kinds of things. And it's really exciting to see the combination of hardware and software and what's actually coming together and really lowering the barriers to doing this. We've been really involved in it. One of the things I've been particularly interested in my professional life has been in the way that products are getting designed today. And people are trying to do the coolest, most interesting stuff. What I still see is people using yesterday's software tools. And what I see is how, yesterday's tools are failing today's engineers. And so we've been working hard on building tools that help for small teams building products, teams that, span the globe build products, people who are doing fast iterations. Most of the design and engineering tools that are out there were not designed for you. And what we've been busy building is a set of tools that are made for people who are moving quickly, doing agile development, making new, interesting, innovative stuff. So it's tremendously exciting to have you all here. I'm thrilled about it. I've been happy to work with the folks at HAX and try to make some of our software tools available, and we'd like to make as much of that as available as possible. And I'm happy to talk to you more about what we're doing. I see this incredible confluence of the ability to raise money, the ability to do early marketing, how digital fabrication is changing, how easy it is to make things, the ability to combine open hardware and open software in new and interesting ways. And I'm just delighted to see all the stuff you guys are doing. So welcome to Autodesk. And let me just see if there's any questions. I'm happy. I have opinions on almost anything. So if anyone has any questions, they want to know what I see going on in the hardware space, anything about tools, raising money, happy to answer anyone's questions. If not, Well, let's see. Anyone have any questions? Anyone brave enough to even ask a question? Brave enough to start a company, but not brave enough to ask a question. Go ahead.
So can you tell us about Autodesk's affiliation with HAX?
Yeah, so, our affiliation with HAX has been, one, we're happy to host Demo Day, and we've done it. This is the second year that you guys are here? Maybe the third time here? Third, Cyril and Sean say third time here. And in general, what we've been trying to do is stay really close to exciting incubators, funders like HAX, and see what the people are trying to do. Right now you're in the Autodesk gallery where we try to showcase the work of our customers. And mostly what you see over there is work of the larger firms. Down the street at Pier 9, many of you may have heard about it, but down at Pier 9, we have a 35,000 square foot digital fab workshop. We have dozens of 3D printers, CNC machines, water jets. We're busy building hardware there. We're busy trying to make the workflow better. All those frustrations, there's lots of good software and hardware tools out there. Making them talk to each other, is an opportunity to curse. It's all, why doesn't this do this? Why doesn't that talk to that? So what we really try to do, and we've loved the stuff that HAX is doing. I love the way they're tapping into a much broader reach. Many of the incubators and VCs we work with are fairly local. And this is a much more global and broader reach. And we just love seeing what people are doing. And we work closely with them and try to provide tools. One of the things we did, in particular, someone could invent two things to invent are better audio, and the other, or speaker phones, and the other one are better projectors for rooms that actually work. And I think if someone could do that hardware, that's a huge success. One of the things that we've been trying to do is, last year, just around this time, we introduced a product called Fusion 360. And one of the things we did about it was a full-fledged program that really worked on form and function and fabrication. And we thought it was really important to bring together what something looked like, organic or prismatic, the function, how does it perform, and be able to fabricate it. And fabrication may start with 3D printing, but also goes all the way to sophisticated CNC and being able to machine and fabricate with a variety of machines. And one of the things that we did along with HAX is we made the tools available to all startup companies for free. So Fusion 360, complete with CAM and everything, is available for everyone, set up to be modeling and simulation and fabrication that everybody can share and collaborate. So for us, it's watching some of the people who are doing some of the most innovative and kind of cutting edge stuff is kind of the payback we get, and in return we do tools. And what I see amongst our large customers, and about 30 to 40% of our revenue comes from the biggest companies in the world. These are Apple and BMW and Nike. And every one of those companies these days, what's on their mind, well, I'll tell you what used to be on their mind. There was a period of time in which quality was on their mind. And it was entirely about Six Sigma and how do I make stuff better. Then we got to the next phase, which was about cutting costs. And how do I make it cheaper and how do I outsource it? Nowadays, the two things I hear most often is how do I innovate, which translates to how do I make a product that is differentiated from my competitors? And the second thing is how do I get it to market more quickly? And those are the two things, and I think many of the people in this room represent where these companies are looking for doing those ideas. Sean mentioned the multi-billion-dollar acquisitions. Those things only make sense if the big companies think they can't do it themselves. And I see lots of signs of where the big companies don't think they can do it themselves and are willing to pay to have that happen. See if there's any other, yeah.
I'm wondering, what's your big vision for Autodesk for the next 5 years?
So the question is, what's my big vision for Autodesk for the next 5 years? So let me give you 20 seconds what we do today and then where we've been thinking about and how we go about running a company like this. So what we do today is we make software. We make software for three sets of people. People who do the built environment, so architects and engineers who do buildings and roads and bridges. The second one is people who do manufactured products, designers, engineers, and manufacturers. And the third one that people don't know us as well for is media and entertainment. So all the feature-length films with special effects, all the games use our software to make them. So those are the three industries we think about. When we think about doing strategy, because we don't have the agility and the nimbleness of many of the companies in this room. On the other hand, when we do something, we can have a big effect. And I kind of think of the difference. I've actually started 2 companies, and I sold them both to Autodesk. So I came here by way of that. And so I've lived in startups, and Autodesk is a company. We'll do $2.5 billion in revenue this year. We have 10,000 employees. It's different than when I started my first company with my friend. And the analogy I always think of is like a ball peen hammer versus a sledgehammer. The ball peen hammer, you can move it really quickly and deftly, and you can make little dents. But it's hard to do a lot with the little hammer. The sledgehammer, hard to move it, but when you eventually move it, you can actually do some damage. You can make stuff happen. When I think about a company of this size, as opposed to a startup where tomorrow you could wake up and pivot and do something differently, you could change your idea, and you might wear 5 hats in a given day. What we have to spend more time doing, because we move, we have to find some place out on the horizon. And so I look at places out on the horizon that are the confluence of what I think our customers want or will want and what technology is possible. So the place where I've been spending the most time is trying to think of the important trends out there that matter to our kinds of customers. So one of the ones that I think is the most important is this idea that I call infinite computing. I think for most of the time I've been involved with computing, the way we think about it is we've treated computing as a scarce resource, that it's precious, that you don't use it, that there's not enough of it. And I think it's completely wrong-headed. I think it's the complete opposite. If you look today, you can rent a core on Amazon for a nickel. I mean, if any of you, took BART here from the airport, that was $3. If you parked your car, it was $45. But I can get 1 billion transistors acting on my behalf for a nickel. And the interesting thing about computing is it's the only asset in the world that's coming down in price. And it's coming down in a fairly predictable way. So if you extrapolate, you say, computing in the limit will virtually be free. I have all the computing I want. And if I had all the computing power in the world I want, how would I go about designing and engineering things differently? I would not do it the way you do it today. So I wouldn't start by sitting down and using a CAD tool and drawing something and, documenting a 3D model. I would do it completely differently. I would say, let me think about the problem. Let me solve it. One of the things I see that often happens, and the analogy I have in my mind, is that when I watch people do product development, it reminds me of this game of Battleship. I don't know if anyone's old enough to remember the game of Battleship. There's at least 3 people, I feel a little better, in which you say B4, and then someone says miss. And then you say E5 and miss. And you do this over and over again until you run out of time or patience or money, and then you say good enough. And that seems like a huge mistake. So jump back to this idea that you have as much computing power in the world as you want. And so there are traditional engineering problems that you're all solving, we solve every day. We're balancing strength and weight and cost. Why not use algorithmic approaches to find the answer to that question? If you're exploring a multivariate space, use the power of the computer to explore. And again, this is for the true believers. If you believe computing costs are going to zero, I cannot run 3 tests. I can run 3,000 or 300,000 and get the best or near optimal answer. So a lot of what we're doing is trying to figure out how do we go from this world in which people document things using their design tools to where they really have the power and the freedom and the imagination to explore it. So that's one thing I'm really interested in. And the thing that most interests me is what's going on with digital fabrication. I think some of the coolest stuff is going on, which, in my mind, it's not just 3D printing when people talk about digital fab. In my mind, it's applying microprocessors to the act of making stuff. And I think we're at the very beginning of taking microprocessors and doing that. 3D printing is interesting. Carbon fiber 3D printing is interesting. combining traditional CNC milling with additive manufacturing is really interesting. I think we're at the very beginning of some really exciting stuff in digital fabrication. And so those are the two areas I'm kind of positioning Autodesk for, is how do we make computer-aided design, so-called CAD, really, the computer actually really help? And then the second part is how do we employ these digital fabrication tools to make, better products quicker? Okay, I'm done. I'm getting the hook from Cyril. Thanks very much. Welcome everybody for being here.
Thank you, Carl. Oh man, should follow this kid. He has a bright career ahead of him. So, just gonna give you a brief overview of Hacks for those who haven't heard of us or haven't been so close to it, and especially since last November, as we had our third demo day. Since then, quite a few things happened. The economists spent quite some time over there in Shenzhen, calling us, luckily not another accelerator, and it's been quite a wild ride. Here is just short video for you guys to enjoy. All right, so 6 things about hacks. It's pretty gruesome. In 111 days, we're asking people to both build a product and come over here and launch it. So this is quite a bright career ahead of him. Sorry, got some return. All right. The program takes place in Shenzhen, and we're coming back at the end of it to San Francisco, where we're now. So far, we've worked with about 40 startups, 10 per batch, 4 batches. The first one was 2.5 years ago. And it's actually a very, very international program, which makes things really fun down in China. 60% of the companies are from North America, 20% from Europe, and about 20% from Asia, out of which China generally have one representative. We've covered a lot of areas in hardware, from IoT, wearables, robots. We're really thinking about technology at large that can improve human lives. And so far, all of them are still alive, have been leveraging millions of dollars in revenue and in funding, which is quite an anchor to our philosophy, essentially, building meaningful things that can get fast to market. We're big believers in taking startups as soon as possible to market, because hardware is a cash flow business, and so being able to deliver is pretty essential. Very capital effective and user backed. Most of the startups that you will see today, at least if they are on the B2C side, are launching on Kickstarter or Indiegogo and other crowdfunding campaigns out there. Think sustainably, but essentially we are aligned with founders since we are investors into the company, and we think really long term. We're not here to be a third-party layer of any kind. Everything we do at Hacks is about education, providing really all the resources, context, everything we have to make those hardware startups successful. And in this slide, we've been developing what we call the lean hardware thinking. If you haven't seen it so far, you could Google it, lean hardware. You'll have a few articles here and there, and a few slide shares as well that are pretty interesting and explaining really how a hardware startup today is working. Some of our past successes on Kickstarter, you may have heard about Nomiku the first year, Spark, Hex, Melon, quite a few others out there. And the idea is really to make sure that companies get to revenue very fast. And it's a very, very interesting topic, since we are hard believers that most of the company, if not all the company, could essentially survive. So it's very far from a VC model where one or two are going to succeed out there. We really want them to get to revenue, and even the B2B companies you're going to see today, which are in robotics for the most part, we really spend a lot of time on the business models of it, so that they could really generate revenue. We call that robot and robotics as a service. Most of them are going to cover that during their presentation, but it's very interesting. Today we have actually 4 companies launching on Kickstarter. I think there are maybe about 200 of you in the room. If you each give $5, that will be about $1,000 for those guys. That will be pretty awesome. So keep in mind to go on Kickstarter when you get the chance. Kickstarter.com/HAXLR8R, and back those companies and buy their product if you like it. And finally, please tweet with the hashtag Hacks on Twitter. We're also live streaming, so you can send that to your friends who could not make it today. YouTube.com/HAXLR8R, click on the first link, and you will get to the streaming out there. All right, so I'm pretty much done with the presentation of Hacks. We have one of our partner here, Benjamin Joff, is actually going to tell you just one last thing before we get into the crust of the demos. And it's all about beware of the 12 wares.
Thanks, Cyril. All right, so I guess you're all waiting for the demo. So I just want to give you some indication of our thinking around startups and hardware startups in particular. You probably heard of crowdfunded projects who had trouble, didn't ship, or couldn't even be made. So we developed some vocabulary to be able to talk about hardware. And I want to share that with you to prepare you to what's coming next. So here's a list of 12 wares to be aware of. And here's the first one. So I don't know if you guys can see the back, so I'm going to read them. So the first one we called funware. It's basically projects that don't qualify as venture-backed business because they're targeting too small markets, or they're just not seen as large enough. So that's an example of what could be funware. This is so an inventor called Mr. Kawakami from Japan. He's founder of a movement called Chindogu, which is basically creating perfect solutions to very special problems, such as if you're sneezing all the time, you can have a toilet roll over your head. So the particularity of his movement is that he creates solutions that are so much socially awkward that they cannot just be sold. He also has those glasses to put eye drops perfectly and never miss. Those are a few others for your entertainment. The baby mop, difficult to justify, always a child labor. Open eye stickers for the office. You stick on your eyelids, gives you an awake look. So this is a particular category of products, and maybe you see some of that on Kickstarter, either niche or too, and like not complex enough, not large enough. So as part of funware, we also have 2 other categories as part of it called nicheware or artware. So a lot of artists, and in some cases also in universities, you see projects that are like installations, like one-time things. Those are very interesting to trigger thinking, but don't really work for ventures. Another one we can actually called Easyware. So that's an example of a project on Kickstarter that actually did really well. About $700,000 for this little button that you can put in the audio jack, and that can basically used as a shortcut for some functions. So it did really well. The problem is that this product that was sold on Kickstarter for $27 quickly found an equivalent on a Chinese Kickstarter called Demo Hour. Pretty much the same thing, with even a little accessory to attach it to your headphones for like about 1/3 of the price. So you're like, oh, the Chinese, they copy again. Well, it doesn't stop there. Here's another one. This is created by a company called Xiaomi, which is now a very large mobile phone manufacturer in China, very successful. And they thought that was a pretty good idea, so decided to do it for just $1. And actually, those guys shipped when the others actually haven't shipped yet. So Easyware, the problem is that it's not defensible because it's too easy. And so this is a quote from the founder of Pressy. He said, if Xiaomi starts producing buttons like Pressy, then we will start to produce smartphones. So, all right, that's I think that's quite humorous, but sadly, it shows that if you go for something too easy, you just can't defend it. So in the case of Accelerator, so I was visiting MIT and some other universities last week, and I was discussing with some researchers, and they're very excited about research. And when I tell them, oh, how about the market? Like, well, market, you know, it's not as interesting. And okay, so, well, obviously, Nobel-grade research is very important, but when you think about venture-backable businesses, they need to be thinking about implementing something at some point. And you don't want to make it too easy either. So you don't want that to be just two sensors on the app. So we're somewhere in the middle, maybe between, I'd say, indigo and orange. So that's basically what we're looking at. The third category we call sameware is for products that actually are too similar to what's already out there. So there's this saying that if you build a better mousetrap, the world will beat a path to your door, right? But how much better really does it need to be? The problem is that if you look at mousetraps, there's about 4,000 patents of mousetraps. There's 400 applicants per year. It's the most frequently invented device in US history. So if you just build a better mousetrap, it's probably not going to work. So you need to really do something that's either very different or much better on at least one criteria. So that's also one thing we look at. Another one we call solutionware is very common actually in university research as well. It's basically technology that's developed and that's amazing, but they have no idea what to do with it. So it's basically when it's having the hammer problem. You have a hammer and you're looking for nails. What to do with your hammer? So that happens too. Another one, you might have heard of this one, the hoverboard. So we're still waiting for the jetpacks. This one was actually presented as a real product, and Tony Hawk was like saying, oh, it's amazing, it's finally there. It was a hoax just for promotion. Sadly, on Kickstarter, there's also a number of projects that intend to create really innovative things, but are just not feasible. And sometimes, actually, most of the time, the founders don't really realize it until they start talking with the factory, where like reality starts to kick in. Sixth one we call lameware. Those are products that have really good intentions, but compromise so much toward manufacturing during manufacturing that they end up being not on spec and very disappointing for the customers. And once you have like 1 or 2 stars on Amazon, I think your business is quite jeopardized. Seventh, we call failware, is basically successfully building the wrong thing. That happens a lot to companies who build in a vacuum. So the approach of lean on software and hardware is to try to qualify your market to make sure you have a market even before you start building. Number 8, lateware. So that happened too with Kickstarter, sadly. So it's projects that basically get a very good response and maybe raise millions, but during the time they raise money and the time they ship, if they ever ship, there's a few competitors that actually start getting into the same market. So that happened with smartwatches, smart lockers, and now I'd say the companies that qualified that market couldn't really reap the rewards because they failed at manufacturing or failed too long. Another one, lossware, is more like an accounting problem. A lot of makers are so enthusiastic about getting their products to market, they don't account for margins. So they're like, oh, they already feel guilty when they charge twice the bill of material. Well, any of you who's been in retail know that if your product cost is twice the bill of material, you probably cannot retail, or you have no margin, because the retailer is going to take 50%. So that happens a lot. Another one, boreware. So I'm the happy owner of a wearable that I stopped wearing. It's one of the biggest trends in wearables. So that's basically a product that people give up on after just a few weeks or a few months of usage because it's too cumbersome. Another one, futureware. It's basically products that are amazingly innovative but too ahead of their market. You could argue that Google Glass, maybe Oculus are in that category, and it's possible that if they were not acquired or backed by very large companies on a vast amount of money now, it would be really difficult for them to be sustainable for the next few years. Last one is more particular, and I was in Japan, and I see a lot of that. It's called localware. It's basically products that are too tied to a local ecosystem. Happens a lot in Japan. They have this phenomenon they call the Galapagos syndrome. Basically, they have evolved like products and technological species that are just so local that they can't export them. So that's it for the 12 wares. I think next we're going to finally start the demo. So I'll give the mic back to Cyril. Thank you.
All right, is everybody ready? Come on, come on. All the companies today, robot as a service, sport tech, health tech, green tech, 3D printers, connected camera, smart city logistics, a lot of cool things. All the teams are going to go from now on their own. And the first one is Next Thing. And Dave, please give it for Next Thing.
All right, first I'd like to take a second and thank everybody at HAXLR8R, Cyril, Sean, Benjamin for helping us make all this possible, and everyone for being here as well. So I'm Dave, I'm from Next Thing Co., and today we're gonna talk about photography. So last year, there were 873 billion photos uploaded to the internet. If you count the 7 billion cat animated GIFs that were also uploaded, there are 880 billion photos uploaded last year. And of all of those photos, our favorites are animated GIFs. At Next Thing, we love animated GIFs, but there's a problem. Animated GIFs are incredibly fun, but making them, not so much. So we've solved this problem. What if it was as fun to create GIFs as it was to watch them? And so we made a camera that makes animated GIFs. So today I'm very excited to introduce you all to Otto. So this is Otto here. Otto makes creating GIFs as easy as it is to watch them. You press here on this winder, you flip out the crank, and then you crank. And then as you crank, it's capturing frames, and when you're done, you rotate it backwards, and the GIF is created. So once you've created the GIF, it appears instantly on your iPhone or smartphone. Now, you should be asking, why did we make a camera that makes animated GIFs? And well, Otto is not just for creating animated GIFs. When Otto is paired to its iPhone app, you can pick from a library of modes just like this animated GIF mode I've described. These modes customize everything about the camera. They change the way the buttons behave, they change the style of images that are captured, they change even the sounds the camera can make. Once you pick a mode from the gallery, you transfer it to Otto, you put your phone away. You grab Otto, you go outside, you explore, and you make great images. As soon as you capture these images, they're transferred over Wi-Fi to your phone, and if you so choose, Otto can automatically post them and share them with your favorite people on the internet. So these modes that we're talking about, it's important to get a sense of what kind of crazy things you can do with this camera when you can change everything about it. So a couple of examples. First, this is the vector field mode. This analyzes the brightness using computer vision and actually creates a vector field of the given image. And this is what it would look like if you weren't using Otto. And this is with the image that comes off of the camera without any additional work. Another one, again, a favorite in the studio, the Deal With It meme. This again uses computer vision and image magic to locate people's faces, their eyeballs, track them, and then drop animated sunglasses onto their face. One of my personal favorites, the Magic Eye. This is what you would get without Otto. The images that come off of Otto are actually fully functional 3D Magic Eye puzzles. So we've talked about changing the software, but where it gets really interesting is you can change the hardware that Otto uses as well. Otto is completely hackable. To that end, we've designed an attachable flash that is actually a PCB proto board. And here, we've created a high-five camera. This is a camera flash that changes the image by using capacitive sensing to detect when two people take a high five and capture the image just at that instant. So these flashes are built using the Arduino. So what's amazing about this is that there are over 700,000 Arduinos already in circulation. So when Otto launches on Thursday, there are hundreds of thousands of people who can begin to customize the camera in ways we can't even imagine. So this next bit is the first time we've talked about this in public, and we're incredibly excited to mention it, is Otto was prototyped on the Raspberry Pi. And in China, we were looking to find a way to build a smaller PCB that allowed us to make the camera the perfect size. Well, an interesting thing happened about a month ago, And the Raspberry Pi Foundation released this little thing right here. This is called the Raspberry Pi Compute Module. And it is a full version of the Raspberry Pi that can be used in custom PCBs. No one has used this yet, and I'm very happy to say today that Otto is the first commercially available product to make use of the Raspberry Pi Compute Module. Again, available Thursday. What's super interesting about using a Raspberry Pi as the basis for what looks like just a camera is that there are already 2.5 million Raspberry Pis out there in the world. So with the Arduino, we have hundreds of thousands of people. With the Raspberry Pi, we potentially have millions of people who, the day our product comes out, can change everything about how it works. We've talked about a number of modes, but because of this choice and because of this design, people can actually make their own modes. They can use the tools they already use today to change the camera into whatever they want it to be. So there's 3 of us. There's me, Dave, there's Gus, and there's Thomas. We went to China and we made a camera that made animated GIFs, among other things. But it's important for me to tell you right now that Next Thing is not a camera company. And Otto is not just a camera. Otto is an example of a product that is only possible because of a big change that has already happened. Whether you realize it or not, all of the devices around us have become incredibly smart. But the problem is, we treat them as though they're not. These products, they have computers inside of them, but yet we can't change anything about them. Otto, similarly, has a computer inside of it, but you can change everything about it. So when you have this computer inside of a product, you might ask yourself, well, can I run apps on it? Well, what about apps on things? So this is what Otto is all about. Otto is a demonstration of this concept, this idea that if everything around us is built from general purpose computers, we should be able to change how these things work. So if you want to actually control the devices that you use every day, or if you really just love animated GIFs as much as we do, you should back Otto on Thursday on Kickstarter. Thank you.
Hello. Hi. My name is Javier. This is Aga. We are the founders of Niwa, the first generation of smart tech food devices that will enable everyone to grow their own food right at home. And this is Almeria, where I and a substantial portion of the vegetables consumed in the world come from. 2,000 trucks depart from here every day to ship vegetables all over Europe. It makes no sense to me. We believe in a world where a significant part of the vegetables are consumed and produced locally. And we are not alone thinking like this. There is a huge demand for organic products and a growing trend towards urban farming. But the reality is that for most of us, growing our own food is almost impossible. This is actually what happened when we tried to do it. Dead plants and frustration, not tomatoes. Why? First, because we don't know how to do it. We don't have the proper place or conditions to do it. And because we don't have that much time left to care about our plants. That's why we have developed the solution, the world's first smart growing system, Niwa. What is Niwa? Niwa is a fully automated system, so you don't need to worry ever again about watering your plants. It has a smart lighting system that will switch on the lights only if your plants need it. It has a number of sensors and actuators inside that will create the perfect environment for your plants to grow healthy and strong. It's based in hydroponic technology. There is a soilless way to grow plants. You just need to add some water and nutrients every 2 weeks, and that's it. It's super clean. And for the first time, it's fully connected to the internet. So you are still in control of the whole experience. But this time, it's going to be fun and easy. How easy? Well, the first thing you'll do, it will be connect your Niwa to the internet. Then you just need to plant a seed or a plant in Niwa and tell the app what you want to grow. And then Niwa will load a pre-programmed settings for your plant, and that's it. Now, check if everything is okay from the app whenever and from wherever you want. And every different plant has different needs along its life. So the app will ask you for feedback to determine in which stage your plants are and change the settings accordingly. If you are a more advanced gardener or you want to experiment, you still can create your own programs from the app easily, and you can even share them with the community. And maybe you're wondering what can you grow with Niwa. You can grow almost anything that fits, from vegetables, herbs, or even medicinal plants, you know.
Cool. So who is Niwa for? That way. We're entering an exciting and growing market, driven by rapid changes in consumer behavior, growing awareness about sustainability, increasing concerns about where the food comes from, and growing trends towards local or organic food. We know that last year, 1/3 of American households planted a vegetable garden, yet most of them see hardly or no crop. Another third would like to grow, but simply have no time, space, or knowledge to do so. Not anymore. That's why we developed Niwa, the easiest way to grow your own food indoor. In this picture, you can see our agriculture expert playing with our real working prototype and the app she was setting up settings for this particular plant. Current solutions in the market are either limited to small plants or are big hydroponic systems, which still require a lot of time, knowledge, and effort to maintain. They offer usually no connectivity, and most of them are quite aesthetically unappealing, as you can see. Niwa offers an advanced model for the first time, making gardening easy, fun, and interactive. We offer a rich user interface, full climate control, but also beautiful and compact design, which will seamlessly fit in your lifestyle. We're bringing to the market product which is superior, but also affordable. Our retail price will be around $500. Niwa was in development for the last 2 years. We work with industrial designers, engineers, and all the more agriculture experts to develop the best possible solution. We developed our first prototype back in early 2013, and we evolved from there. At this stage, we are ready for manufacturing, but all the more, we have a number of organizations and a strong community of users who will help us to make Niwa a reality. So we're a team of 4, passionate about sustainability and making products which truly can change people's lives. We have an expertise in hardware, software, business and marketing, and of course, agriculture experts. Enabling people to grow their own food carries tremendous rewards for our economies, our environment, our health, and our lives. Niwa is the first step. We just launched a Kickstarter campaign, and within a few hours, we raised over $12,000. Please support us, share with the community, and let's make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Nico, co-founder of Sumo, and I'm here today to talk to you about action sports and technology. Me and my team of co-founders, Guido and Matti on the back, are crazy fans of action sports. We snowboard, we kitesurf, we surf, but we have all in common is that we love skateboarding and technology. So just like us, there's tons of people out there that are really crazy about skateboarding too. So just in the US, there's almost 14 million skaters and 3 times as much worldwide. But they're really serious about it, because skateboarding is hard. In order to master a new trick, you have to train for hours, weeks. You skate, you train, you fall, you bruise, and you start all over again. So you might ask why we do all this. Well, skateboarding is all about that moment when you land a trick. That moment that makes you feel free, that lets you express yourself on that board. So that's why we created Sumo. Sumo is a device that lets you create that moment and let it live forever. So better shown than explained. Let's see this quick video and see Sumo in action. You just, there we go. I'm Nico, co-founder of Sumo, and I'm here today to talk to you about action sports. You go skate as you usually do. Me and my team of co-founders, Guido and Mati in the back, are crazy fans of action sports. So you pair the device with your board, and you ride. You shoot yourself using your phone's camera, doing the tricks. So just like us, there's tons of people out there. And then the magic happens. So just in the US, there's almost 14 million skaters, 3 times as much worldwide. But they're really serious about it, because skateboarding is hard. In order to master a new trick, you have to train for hours, weeks. You skate, you train, you fall, you bruise, and you start all over again. So Sumo synchronizes the tricks that you make with the video that you shoot, automatically trimming it and triggering slow motion with the perfect timing. And by automatic, I mean that you don't have to do anything. You just have it right there in your phone and ready to share just after it. So we're talking about the slim, light, and durable piece of hardware that sits between the deck and the trucks, ensuring that it won't be damaged after a sick trick that you make. And then it connects via Bluetooth with our mobile app. But all the magic happens under the hood. Our motion recognition algorithm that we customly made for this project can detect right when the board is doing a trick and instantly identify when the board lands and when the board pops. So with that timing, we can create that awesome video that you just saw. On top of that, our mobile app clearly lays out all the information for you. Apart from the video, you can get records of each one of your sessions, including stats for every trick, such as height, air time, speed, or pop force. But just as I said at the beginning, skateboarding is all about style and sharing. So that's why we came up with the solution to, if you don't feel like shooting, you will get an awesome 3D replay of your board's movements right on your phone. That's actually live and it's working right now. So, as you might have imagined by now, we and skaters love videos. There's only in YouTube more than 5 million videos. And if you compare that to other sports that may have more fans or media coverage, they're not as engaged with videos as skaters are. Nowadays, skaters have tons of new tools. For example, phone cameras, mobile cameras, even action cameras designed especially for skateboarding and action sports. But all that footage never sees the light of day. Why? Because it's a pain to edit all that footage afterwards. You have hours and hours of footage that you have to edit. So what will happen to that number if you take out the edition pain? It will get huge. And that community will be ours. A community that has been backing us right from the beginning. They, just like us, believe that this is just the first step into an evolution of action sports. So we couldn't just stay still and do nothing about it. That's why we launched the Kickstarter campaign that's live right now. So if you want to join this evolution in action sports and in skateboarding, don't forget to back us on Kickstarter. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Ashley Reddy, and I'm CEO of Rational Robotics. And with me is Dr. Mark Fiala, CTO of Rational Robotics. So what do? We bring robots from the factory floor to the shop floor because the time is right for that. Now, this is the first product that we're doing. Currently, if your car gets into an accident, somebody has to replace a part. A human being actually has to paint that part. As you can see, this guy's wearing basically a hazmat suit, a respirator, and in a very unergonomic position to do this job. Clearly, it's not something a human being should be doing. So, our solution. This is the Rational Robotics paint robot. And what it is, imagine a giant inkjet printer where you simply put a part in it, it paints the part, and produces a finished part, all without any human intervention. So, what's going on under the hood? Well, once the part's inside, we produce a very accurate 3D scan of the part, and then we optimize a tool path around the part using our custom algorithms. And then we paint the part. Here's the product in action. So first, the scanning phase. That's the paint head. We do automated cleanup of the produced 3D model. Then we do a simulation to make sure we get optimal coverage of the part. Then actually paint the part. Now, let me get to the good part. The auto body industry is a $41 billion a year business in the United States. There are 116,000 auto body shops throughout the US. We want to sell robots that basically eliminate painters within these auto body shops. We want to price it where the auto body shop could get an ROI within 6 to 8 months. So that means anywhere between $20,000 to $50,000, depending on the market that they're in. On the lower side of this, we'll also charge a per usage fee, so we get the reoccurring revenue stream from that as well. And it makes it easier for an auto body shop to afford something like this. The advantages are numerous. First of all, it's cheaper to use. Every time our product is used, it displaces $100 of labor. It produces a uniform coating which simply can't be done by humans. There's no exposure to any chemicals because this is a self-contained unit. You don't have to put on a respirator. You just put the part in the machine. And also, it works continuously unaided. Also, it's a fairly small unit, so it can be tucked away in the back corner of your local mechanic shop, for example. And it uses less paint. Basically, we have a very accurate measure of the surface area, so we're able to really optimize the amount of product that's used on any part being painted. So we're doing this right now because we saw some very interesting things happen in this marketplace. There's a lot of consolidation happening. So companies like Mako, for example, have 500 auto body shops throughout North America. So what this does is it reduces our cost of customer acquisition while raising our lifetime value for that customer. Labor costs are always increasing because of the liability issues. You have to take into account things like OSHA and workmen's compensation, for example. Also, environmental concerns are always an issue. We offer a very high quality product at a very low price as a service. It's not like you could outsource this somewhere. You can't take a part, have it painted in China, and ship back economically. So, the current status. Well, we have an actual working prototype. We're working with a company called Endura Paint that makes durable paint, and their customers are our customers as well. Also, we're eating our own dog food. We're setting up a factory to paint parts for the local auto body companies in our market. And this does a couple of things. It lets us iron out the process. As well, it generates cash flow. So we have a team of 3 people working on this right now, full time. Me, Dr. Mark here, and Dharma, who has 20 plus years of industry experience in the auto body industry. Mark and I have participated in multiple startups. We both have IP that we've registered, and lots of experience with business. So, in summary, we'd like some investment from you because we have a truly disruptive product, we have a clearly defined business opportunity, and we have an experienced team that's capable of executing this vision. So we're looking to raise $500,000 in equity investment. So, in conclusion, in the immortal words of Game of Thrones, winter is coming. Thank you.
Hello together, my name is Nico from Horde, your local Dropbox. We built the first network of smart lockers which makes sharing things simple. So let's have a quick look at the fast-growing market of the sharing economy. In peer-to-peer sharing, today already 500,000 people share their apartments and 50,000 people share their cars. In this area, we have growth rates of up to 200% per year. And we found a hassle users have. The key is the key, but how to handle the handover. We talked to Airbnb hosts and identified that one of their main pain points is to organize the handover of their keys to their guests. And why? Because both have different agendas. So meeting someone at the same time, at the same point, very often is difficult. Having appointments with their guests makes the host unflexible, costs them time or money, or even jeopardizes the deal. And that's why we came out with our solution, smart lockers. From now on, hosts can drop off their keys at 8 a.m. and their guests can pick up the keys at 11 p.m. when they arrive from the airport. Both act completely independent and according to their schedules. The Horde box is an interactive kiosk which is Wi-Fi connected. Therefore, it is the ideal solution to be installed in monitored stores like 7-Eleven or Starbucks cafes. And the system works very simple. You take your smartphone and book a drop-off at one of our locations. Then you go to the location and drop off your keys in our locker system, which is these. And after that, the pickup code will be sent to your guest, and it's done. Our business model has two memberships. Horde is the on-demand solution where you pay per use. With Horde Plus, you pay a monthly fee and you get unlimited access. The locations, which we call the Horde spots, get the Horde box for free, and they benefit from new customers and their cross-selling opportunities. Electronic locks, people can use already today to give others access to their flats. But these locks have to be installed, and they only give you the chance to open only one door. Horde instead, you can use right away, and you can open everything, you can use it for everything you need a key for. Right at the moment, we are launching a test run in Berlin with 6 Horde spots. Additional 46 were interested. That means from the 72 locations we interviewed, 74% are interested to join our network. And with this growing network, we secure more and more real estate, which can be then used for logistic aspects. The customer response is very good. Approaching 90 Airbnb users or hosts in a special area of Berlin, we already succeed 56 signups on our website. Partners we start with is a flat sharing platform in Berlin, which is called Gloveler, and a cleaning service agency, which is called Clean Agents. Our team consists of 3 co-founders. Anthony and me, we worked 3 years together at KPMG as IT consultants. Arne is architect with focus on smart city solutions. Besides HAX, last November we won the Berlin Challenge Cup in the segment of smart cities, where we also pitched this week in the global finals in Washington, D.C. Within a project with the Swiss railway company, we've already built huge smart lockers, 4 of them, and people could use them using our app to book services like dry cleaning or service delivery, grocery delivery. But our vision with Horde is much more than that. With the infrastructure in place, people can use the system for social logistics, for sharing, and even for service distribution. People will be able to build their own businesses around Horde. And to speed up our market entry, we are searching for investors with a strong network in the sharing economy. Your investment will be used to build up a sales force for tooling, for the final coding, as well as for the infrastructure, to produce the infrastructure for the first 200 Horde spots. So contact us. We are happy to discuss any kind of feedback or opportunities with you. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jun Hao. So today, I introduce you Dharma to bring you the sitting wisdom. I think you know we have 24 hours a day. We sleep 8 hours, work 8 hours, then we watch TV, read, play some games maybe, and we eat, or sitting. So we only work around 2 hours a day. So it means we spend most of our days by just sitting. And because of sitting too long, it causes us a lot of problems, like your back problems, back pain, organ problems, like the heart disease, colon cancers, like leg problems, poor circulations, soft bones, muscle problems, and also our head problems, like the foggy brain, like also the strained necks. So all the problems. And sitting is becoming the smoking of our generation. And now Dharma is here to solve the problems. So how about we start from now? Let's all stand up. Because I think you are sitting too long, your brain is foggy, whatever. Yes, I think it's good, all right? Feeling much better right now, right? We do some stretch, legs, yeah? And also our shoulders, yeah? Yeah, stretch. Yeah, look it. So good. Yeah, okay, so next we can sit. Yeah, but wait. So right now, I ask you to stand up. So when you go back to your office, who tell you to do that? No one, right? No one. Yes. And when do you know you should stand up? And how you should manage that? And how do you know you are doing the right ways without feedback? So we give it a Dharma. So Dharma is named from Buddha Dharma, who is the father of Zen. He brings us the wisdom by sitting. So now Dharma cushion tries to bring you the sitting wisdom to you, back to you again. So Dharma is a smart cushion with a very high sensor technology behind it. And it works with your phone. And the technology behind it is a 1 millimeter thin sensors behind it. It is our 5 years research on fiber optics sensor technology. It is non-invasive measurement your micro movements by just sitting on it. So it means I measure your heart rate from your butt. And through our advanced signals, we can give the biosignals. And I think you know getting a very high sensitive technology is not that difficult for a PhD, but making it affordable is very, very challenging. And we're proud to say, finally, we'll make it affordable to you. I'm going to show a video about our Dharma.
This is a chair. This is a chair with Dharma, the smart cushion that revolutionizes the way we sit.
And how you should manage that. And how
Dharma measures your vitals such as your heart rate and respiratory rate so you can see it real time on your smartphone app.
we give it a Dharma. So
Dharma's advanced sensors also pick up weight distribution to determine your posture and whether you're leaning too far forward or back or left or right. With this information, you can adjust your behavior accordingly and improve your sitting habits. With all the sensory data, Dharma picks up your stress levels and makes suggestions based on its modes of sitting, like encouraging you to meditate for 5 minutes every so often to reduce your stress.
It is our 5 years research on fiber optics sensor technology. It is non-invasive measurement of micro movements by just sitting on it.
You can also customize your own modes, like having a reminder to stretch. Anything to help you get moving around more often will lead to a healthier you. Here are some other modes Dharma offers to improve your work-life balance. Dharma, Sitting Wisdom. Get yours today.
And we're proud to say, finally, we'll make it affordable to you. Thank you. So, Dharma lets you understand your sitting habits and its influence to your body. It manages the heart rate, respiration rate, stress levels, and postures. So beyond that, Dharma gives you the systems to take the actions. And it is the personalized reminder systems. It teaches you when and how to stand up, and it corrects your postures, and also it tells you to learn to relax. In your office, you can take a break, breathe, and meditate with the personalized, synchronized music matched with your breath. And you can see the feedbacks because we can track your stress level. You can see before you meditate, your stress level is what? After, you can see the progress. So before you use Dharma, your day life is like this. You sleep, sit for hours, go to lunch, come back work, then go from work, then go back home to sit. And with Dharma, we break your daily life into small segments with the stand-up reminder, meditation minutes, pulse reminders. And for the market, huge market opportunities. Like the health problems, for the back pain problems, it is $16 billion market. And if you go to a massage, costs you $100 per hour, and it is almost half of our price, actually. And also for the preventions, it is the standing desk, very high, expensive chairs. And also for the activity trackers, they remind you how to stand up, but they don't give you the feedbacks. So about the future, we're not just doing the cushions, because our sensor is only 1 millimeter thin, and it can be any size and any shape with almost the same cost. So we can embed it into shoes, sofa, chair, or even into your mattress to track your sleep. And we also can, from the software part, we can build ecosystems, like you can use your vital signs, integrate with your computer behaviors, activities, health apps, or personalized music. I give you more detail about it. For example, you can know when you are surf the Facebook, chatting with friends, you can know whether your stress level is high or not. Maybe you're chatting with your girlfriend, you can say, no, stress level is very high. Maybe not. And also, you can get the personalized music. For example, because I can know your stress level by sitting on it, so if you develop an add-on service on your computer, it can automatically deliver the software music to help you to reduce the music automatically. No need for you to push some buttons. And much more often, coming back, if you try to use more about the data science. About the Dharma team, we have 3 co-founders. Me, I have a PhD in science and communication. Jeff has the 8 years hardware design experience. Vic has 6 years experience in embedded systems and also the mobile application development. And of course, we have the scientific advisor, Dr. John Venicles. She is the former director of life science at LASA. So she also read a book called Sitting Queues, Moving Queues. And we're going to launch a Kickstarter soon. So please register your email address on our website to get early bird price. And Dharma, bring you the sitting wisdoms you can use to sit, learn your sitting habits, and improve your health. Thank you all very much.
I'm just going to test this thing. I made some mistakes before. Okay, cool. My name is Faison, and I'm from Avidbots. We're a company that is already redefining the way people think about commercial cleaning, and the way we're doing it is we're introducing robots that will clean your Walmarts and your airports. Oh, sorry. Okay, so where did the idea come from? The idea came from you already have Roombas in people's homes that are cleaning your offices, your bedroom, etc. So why is it that human beings are still pushing bulky floor scrubbers or other such machines to clean Walmart, clean airports, shopping malls, etc.? So we saw the disconnect, and we thought we should do something about it. And we introduced to you a floor scrubbing robot and a floor sweeping robot. And they talk to each other and work as a smart swarm. So they communicate the areas that have been cleaned and not cleaned. And I'll show you a quick demo later. So let's talk about the market opportunity. The market opportunity is massive. The United States commercial contract cleaning market is $54 billion. Another way to think about that is there's about 1.8 million football fields of non-residential commercial space that requires frequent cleaning from cleaning contractors who go out and clean these places. So we're going to try and automate the most intensive part of that, which is floor care. And then, of course, there's other markets like Europe and Australia. So it's massive by any means. Let's think about cleaning. Cleaning is extremely boring for the operators that are doing it, and it's because it's extremely repetitive. Because it's extremely repetitive, it is something that can be easily automated, and that's where we come in. So let's look at the demo. These are our prototypes that we've been working on for 4 months in China. Meet your new cleaning theme. So what you're going to see now is the floor scrubber, and it's going to come down the hallway, and it is equipped with lasers, and it's going to make a map of the area that is going to be cleaned. You see the map, and it's being updated as it goes down the hallway. As I mentioned, they work together. Commercial cleaning is a 2-step process. First you sweep, and then you scrub. So the sweeper sent the map to the scrubber, and now the scrubber is on its way to scrub the area that has just been swept. So another request we had from customers is robots got to be able to do edges and corners. And we have, these are just prototypes, and we're going to have it really perfect, but you can see it's staying close to the edges and corners.
And finally, we have done something called coverage planning. So basically, we are not like a Roomba. We're not going to randomly go around and eventually get things to clean. We're going to take a near optimal path to save time and cleaning supplies as well as water to clean all open spaces. Okay, so how does our solution stack up against the existing methods of doing commercial cleaning? So cleaning companies, which are our main target customers, are paying between minimum wage around $12, so there's a premium because it's usually at night, up to $20 per hour. They're slow because human beings don't walk as fast as the machines can be operated at. So they clean between 20 to 30,000 square feet in an average shift, whereas our robots are not limited by the speed at which humans can walk. We can drive them much faster. So we're going to be cleaning between 40 to 50,000 square feet, and we are going to charge much, much less. So we're going to charge $6 per hour for scrubbing and $4 per hour for sweeping. And of course, if somebody wants to buy these robots, they're more than welcome to. $13,500 for the scrubber, $7,500 for the sweeper. Yeah, scrubber, sweeper. Okay, so let's take an example of an average 36,000 square feet grocery store. Right now, the way it works is you have two guys that come in at night, and they spend about an hour and a half brooming the whole place, preparing it to be scrubbed by them. Then they spend 3.5 hours scrubbing this thing using those big, bulky floor scrubbers that you just saw on the second slide. So this comes down to $120 per day on just pure labor. Right now, I'm not calculating the cost of managing these people and their transportation costs, just pure labor. With Avidbots, you need one person for 1 hour for the whole night. So what that means is that 1 hour is to load up the robots with water, cleaning supplies, and then at the end of the shift, take out the dirty water and park the robots in a safe place. That type of stuff, with a lot of margin, 1 hour plus 3.5 hours for scrubbing and 3.5 hours for sweeping. It comes to $47 per day, and you come out at around $73 per day in savings, right? This is, if you do the math, it's about 61% in savings, and it comes down to close to $27,000 for just one store. Now imagine all the stores, and you have all these cleaning companies that are, cleaning 4,000 locations, 40,000 locations, a common story. So we're talking big, big savings for people to switch over to robots. So as I mentioned before, the target companies initially are cleaning companies because most of the cleaning is done by them. However, we're also open to talking to big chains that do their own cleaning like Walmart, and they can, do like a bulk deal and have their robots clean everywhere, wherever they operate. So, traction. The video you just saw, there's an extended version of it on YouTube. We released it about a week ago. Industry response has been massive. I'm getting emails every day from parts of North America, Europe, people asking me how much do these robots, when can they get them, etc. So we have a nice customer pipeline that we are starting to make now. But as you saw, those were prototypes. There's going to be some time to get to the production. So the way to get there is to eat our own dog food, and this is where the robot as a service model really helps. So we have selected 2 partners, and I think more are coming on the way, GenPro, I'm sure, and ServiceMaster. So we're going to be doing beta trials with these people, which are slated to start in the fall. So what that means is these people are going to give us a location. We're going to go clean over there every night in the morning, code bug fixes and stuff, and get the technology to mature really fast. So that's the part about traction. Okay, so this is Accelerator. All of us were in China. So in the last 4 months, while I was in China, we were talking to suppliers, people who manufacture these scrubbing machines and sweeping machines. So we talked to Chaobao. Chaobao is doing $100 million in revenue, and we showed them our robots, and they're extremely excited to the point that they want to collaborate with us and help us make the robots from scratch and do all the heavy lifting when it comes to the manufacturing side of things. So Avidbots can focus on the software and the robotics IP type of stuff. So which reduces our costs, and it also takes out a lot of the risk when it comes to sourcing and manufacturing these robots. Okay, so the team. I myself, my name is Faison, as introduced myself. I studied robotics at University of Waterloo. It's Canada's MIT. I have been a software engineer for a few years after graduating, and I'm doing the software and business for Avidbots. I'm joined by my friend Pablo Molina. I met him at university, same program. He has worked on the lunar rover for the Canadian Space Agency, among other things. He's doing grad school, and he's helping Avidbots with advanced algorithms like the simultaneous localization and mapping algorithms and whatnot, the software side. Ken Anderson, he is a Willow Garage alumni, very popular robotics company in the Silicon Valley. He is a two-time winner of the grid-based path planning competition, and he's helping us with path planning for these robots. The coverage planning I mentioned is done by him. So how do we get to these beta trials, and how do we get to production? The way we get there is we are here to raise money. We're raising about $500,000 to get these beta trials off the ground and get ready for production, get our software stack ready and done, and work with Xiaobao and be ready to start taking orders from all the cleaning companies that are contacting us. So I hope that you join the conversation about the robots that are coming, definitely. And if you're interested in learning more about robots, just chatting or talking about investment opportunities, we're going to be at the back corner. So please come and have a chat with us. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Dan. Today, I want to give you a talk about the next generation 3D printing. Oh, I need to use this. Yes. Yeah. Can everybody hear me? Yes. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to give a talk about the next generation 3D printer because we are going to make one. Yeah. 3D printing is exploding, but what's the killer apps? We'll keep talking about the third revolution, but for current 3D printer, low quality, slow, it's mission impossible to do a scale production. If you really want a manufacturing revolution, not with today's printer, we need a new generation 3D printer to solve this problem. This is CAST. For the previous generation's 3D printer, please allow me to call them previous generation. Now, the FDM printer is affordable, but the speed and the quality is not so good. And the SLA maybe could deliver a good quality and perfect speed, but it's really expensive. We spent 2 years development to achieve this. And we issued some Panther technology. Oh, and the best thing about CAST is we not only print just dots, we print surface. And we use UV-sensitive liquid resin and the solid form melt at 400 degrees, which means you can get a very firm, durable product and room temperature. And the CAST is a bigger machine, which means you not only can make small gadgets, you can create big, huge stuff. CAST is a real tool, not a toy. With CAST, the prototype is the product. The CAST is targeting the consumer market. For the people who want to do small batch manufacturing, CAS obviously is the top choice for them. And for designer, it enabled them to iterate faster and sell their product as soon as possible. Another possible scenario for the CAS to launch his power is in the school. Kids are impatient, and the kids can't wait hours for the final product, but CAS can do it a very attracting toy in very short time. Let me give you a small example. This small Eiffel Tower is about 20 milliliter and it costs about $2. So per cartridge, we can make 20 of them, which worth $40. And we can make 4 at one same time. And it took only 1 hour to make them. And if you run CAS for the whole day, 24 hours, you can get 96 pad. If you retail them with the price $10, at the end of the day, you will have $1,000. And the profit is $800. If for the more subtle structure like this ring on the right, it only costs 1 microliter material, and the cost would be $0.2. And you can print about 200 of them. And unit per page is 20, and only took 15 minutes to produce them. If you run a day, at the end of the day, you will get $10,000, which means the profit is 3 times than the cost, the retail price of CAS. Here are some cool things you can print with CAS. CAS, it means design, make, and sell. Now we are soon on Kickstarter. For the early birds, you can get CAS below $2,000, and CAS will sell with a retail price over $3,000. Yeah, we have a lot of print example you can check out at our decks. Thank you very much.
How's everybody doing? Good. All right. Oh. All right. My name is Lavi Sak, and I would like to introduce everyone to ShotStats, Tennis Evolved. All right. There are 2 main founders, myself and Sergey Feingold. The one thing you really need to know about me is that I just love tennis. I wrote a dissertation on tennis. I am a ATP trained coach, and I played at a high level. I do have an engineering background and a design background, but the key is I love tennis. Sergey, he is the master of building all things. So for this product, he can make it happen. So improvement begins with I. The key to improvement is understanding your game and your abilities. ShotStats enables this understanding by providing you valuable and meaningful, but most importantly, instant data. And this is how. Oh, one more. So you saw some of the features that ShotStats Challenger can do. To To go a bit deeper, you can meet Challenger here. Challenger fits onto your racket right here in the bottom, just like a standard vibration dampener. A dampener is a typical accessory that you use to soften the blow to your elbow when you make contact with the ball. If you look at the top left, you can see the screen is going to be very, very bright. It's going to be very high resolution and work in the stadium lights or even outdoors in the sun. And it fits on. And one big thing is dampers do fly off. This product will not fly off. And that's one of the biggest things we're striving for. All right. So the power of data comes into play when you really can combine it with the app. If you look at these two screens here, we're highlighting the 4 main metrics, which are head speed, ball impact, ball spin, and stroke count, which is the number of balls you hit, also what type of shot you hit, if it's a forehand, backhand, serve, overhead. So if you look here, on the left, you have a graph of your forehand serves, backhands, and overheads, but over time and how fast you're actually hitting them. And as a coach myself, these are the 4 metrics that are most crucial in improving your game. And this is the big thing that no one else has done, is combining the stats we get with video. So this device can sync via Bluetooth to your phone, and in real time, use the timestamps on each device to trigger each contact point. So say I'm coaching somebody, and little Johnny, I guess, hits 5 forehands. At every contact point, I'm able to get his stats and average them and put them at the end of that video. They're pretty much data overlaid, just like that. Tennis is a big community. There's leagues, there's ladders, there's USTA tournaments, all sorts of things. So we want to bring to life kind of the Instagram of tennis, where people share their videos, their pictures, their locations, but most importantly, their metrics. Because right now, YouTube, people share all these videos all the time asking for feedback, but what if you could combine data with that video? That's where the power comes into play. I'm going to jump into the market. There's 110 million tennis players in the US, and of that 110, we have 22 million frequent tennis players. These are players who play at least once every 2 weeks. And these are players we deem the people who want to improve the most. The US tennis market is about $1.5 billion. 800 goes in equipment, and 700 million goes into teaching. So with equipment, the key thing you want to know is that the frequent players actually make up 75% of the total expenditure in tennis. And teaching, about 1 in 4 tennis players take lessons. So one I guess announcement we want to make is that we've had a new partner, and they are Tennis Warehouse, which is the biggest online tennis retailer in both North America and Europe. We have signed an exclusive deal with them to launch next year. We also want to thank our supporters, and these are people from HAX, but also there's different coaching associations, there's video analysis tennis companies that really want to partner with us to combine the data and video once more. Also, we teamed up with some NCAA colleges to get their tennis teams on board, so things like that. Lastly, we are now on Kickstarter, and let's make a racket and continue the trend going here, because we got $15,000 in the first 6.5 hours. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I am Atta Gofrani, co-founder of Quitbit, and we make devices to help people change behaviors. Quitbit is the first smart lighter and app to help people track smoking. Actually, full disclosure before I jump in, I am a smoker, in case everyone was wondering, actually an ex-smoker. Now, the government has done a great job of telling us how bad smoking is, so I don't need to talk about that. But what people don't know is smoking is actually a pretty big problem in the United States. There are 42 million Americans that still smoke. But most of them don't even want to. And every year, 18 million of them try to quit at least one time. And to make quitting easier, they spend $2.8 billion on products like electronic cigarettes, Nicorette gum, and prescription medication. But despite that spending, only 6% are able to successfully kick the habit. It's not really just an American problem either. It's really a global issue. There are 1 billion smokers worldwide, and having just come back from China, that box is really that big. Now, we think the success rates of quitting are so low because people tend to use methods that are more convenient, like quitting on their own or e-cigarettes, rather than highly effective methods like counseling plus medication or group support. At Quitbit, we're trying to bridge this gap by creating tools that are as easy to use as an app or e-cigarette, but as effective, should I say, as things like group support. So, I'd like to introduce the Quitbit, and I'll give you guys a break from my voice for 30 seconds as our friend Bridget gives a brief demo.
What happens when you take the same principles that help you become more active and use them to help you quit smoking? You get the Quitbit, the world's first smart lighter. It lights your cigarettes using a heat coil and tracks every time you smoke, so you can be mindful and start to cut out cigarettes one by one. If you can measure it, you can manage it. Learning your smoking habits is simple. With the Quitbit app, you can take a closer look at your trends and set custom goals to quit. Quitbit, the last lighter you'll ever need.
Cool. So, what Bridget didn't say, though, is how Quitbit keeps you motivated by showing you things like how many cigarettes you smoke each day and how many cigarettes you have left to smoke each day to stay on pace to reach your goals. It also syncs to your phone because we didn't want to just build a cigarette counter. And to really unlock the power of the Quitbit, you need to use the mobile app. With the mobile app, you can see things like all your smoking trends and use features like the spider graph to really figure out when you're smoking most during the day and cut out cigarettes you don't need. We're also planning to open up an API so your smoking data can be integrated with other aspects of your health. You can share your progress and achievements with the built-in community, and if your friends aren't there, you can share through Facebook and Twitter too. But most importantly, pairing it with the mobile app lets the lighter be completely customized. You can set custom reduction plans, and you can even limit how and when the lighter will work. So we've gotten this far thanks to an amazing group of mentors, friends, and family, and ourselves. I come from a medical device and consulting background, and I'm responsible for keeping everybody sane for the next month during our Kickstarter campaign. My co-founder, Kuji, used to be running manufacturing at Zio, a sleep tracking product, and that's where he met Fred as well, and he's running all our hardware. So, we are live on Kickstarter right now, and we're a little over 110 backers, I think. But we need your help to, spread the word and join the journey. And come find us afterwards, because I think I'm the last one between everyone and alcohol. So, thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks, all. You had a good time? Yeah. All right, so from now on, there will be some demo going on, some little reception. I wanted to leave you with 2 more pieces of information. We are actually gearing up for our 5th batch this summer, so if you know any good startup, just refer it to us. And we're also going to put all the presentation on SlideShare. So if there are things that you want to revisit later in the next hour, we'll just do that. Just leave you with one final video of how much fun it is to be with us. All right, thank you all. Have fun.